Hello class. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to quick ring in your character and quick set up the animations for gaming in less than 5 minutes. To download model from internet, so here I'll go to Google and type free3d.com, and then I'll find this webpage, free3d.com. And you can click any of this link to search for character model or weapons. So here I'll just type in skeleton to search, and then I'll use this model for demonstration. So you can click on that, and here below it listed all of the assets it included in this package. It doesn't have texture, and also the format only has 3ds and Max. So these formats are not supported in Maya. However, you really don't know what the package has until you download it. After you download it, you'll see this compressed file here, and you can just double click on to unzip it. And in this folder, you'll see we have the OBJ file. It doesn't list it on the website, but we have that here, so that's tricky. So to save your time, I'll also post this model on Blackboard, so you can also download this model from Blackboard. Alright, so now let's bring in this OBJ file into Maya. And now you can see that we have two parts. So I'll select both of them and hit Command G to put it in a group, and then hit W key to move it up and make sure the foot is on the floor. And then I'm gonna select these two parts inside of this folder and go to Mesh and Combine. So this will combine them into one mesh. And then I'll go to Freeze Transformation, and then edit and delete its history. So you're gonna clean the model, the file, and we can name it skeleton. Okay. Then we'll go to File and Project Window, and we'll create a project folder for our project. So here you can click on New, and then here you can pick up a location. So I'll just paste the location here, and I'm going to create put a name for the project. So here I'm going to say ring in demo. So this will be the Maya project folder. Click on Accept. After you've done that, you should see that you have this project folder for Maya. And underneath that, you have all these subfolders, and the textures will be in this source image folder, and scenes will be in this folder. So now we can see that we don't have any scene, so we haven't saved this scene. So we'll go to File again and save scene as. So you're going to save to the project folder we just created and in the scenes folder. So here we can see ringing step 1. Okay. Then we'll go to the UV and apply a automatic projection method. Just for demonstration purpose, because projection mapping automatic is the fastest way. So if you go to UV and UV editor, you should see that it unfolded all of the UVs into pieces. Okay, so if this is your own character and if you want to get the best result, I would suggest you use the Maya bonus tool to cut the UV, so you have better UV with the seam just line up at a specific area. Then you can Google skeleton texture, and I'm going to use this one. Okay, looks good. So we're going to download it and select the model and go to Modify, Freeze Transformation, and delete its history again because we just applied the UV. Okay, so with this model selected, go to File and go to Export Selection, and here Format, choose FBX and check on Animation, even though we don't have animation yet, but we're going to create animation. So here, File Type, we can file name, just to put this name, and export. So we'll use this FBX file as a start point for ringing and animation. Then I want you to go to this website, mixmo.com, and as you come here, you can log in with your Adobe account if you have one. If you don't have one, just sign up for free. Here I have imported this character before, so when you first open this website, just click on Upload Character, and then bring in this FBX file, drop it here, and it'll upload. Then it'll ask you to check the character's poses. For T pose, it would be easiest because the character's mesh is separated. However, for this model, since we just downloaded from internet, we have plenty of space between the meshes, so that's fine. So we can click on next, and then we're going to drop this indicator to different joints. So here's the chin, so we'll put it in the center here, and wrist will be here, and make sure you place it at the exact location, and then the knee will be here, and then the groin will be here, and then here we're going to set a standard skeleton, which is 65. Use the symmetry and click on next. So you're gonna start to auto ringing our character. Once it's done, it'll apply a default animation to your character, so you can preview the ringing. So you can click on the window and drag it left and right to preview it from a different perspective. It's not perfect because it's an auto ringer. However, it's good. It's very good actually. So we'll click on next, and then next, and then you're gonna show up here. Okay, so now we'll have our character in a standard pose, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on download, and I'll download the FBX binary, and the pose I'll choose a T pose and download. Here for the downloaded file, I will rename it to skeleton T pose. Okay, and then we can apply animation to it. So here I'm going to search for walk, and we can get a walk animation. Just click on that, you will apply it to the character. And here we can click on in place, because if you're going to use the animation for Unity, we need to check on in place. Okay, if you like this animation, so here we're going to download again. So here for skin, we'll choose without skin, so you'll only download the skeleton. So I'll explain why later on. Frame per second, let's do 60 frames per second. Format, choose a binary, and here is a none, and just download. Here I'll rename it to skeleton walk, and then come back here. I'll select search die animation or death. It's more accurate. And then you can pick up a death animation you're interested. So I'll pick up this one. And then we're going to see download, and also without skin, 60 frames per second, download. And then here I'm going to rename it to skeleton death. Okay, and come back here, and now we're gonna search for idle, and we can look for a idle animation. So maybe this one. Okay, and download without skin, 60 frames per second. And let's rename this one to skeleton idle. Alright, so for demonstration purpose, we'll only use these 4 FBX files. So keep in mind that the T-pose file is with the skin, which is with the mesh. And all of the animations, we only have the skeleton downloaded. Skeleton with the keyframe animation. Alright, first I want you to go to Blackboard and download the project file from this link. So it has the Unity standard assets all imported. Alright, and after you download it, you will have this zip file, and it's just a double click on and to unzip the file. And then you should have this folder, right? So let's rename it so we can recognize our project file. So here you can put any name here that you can recognize. So here I'll just see character demo maybe. Okay, and then go to the assets here, and under the assets folder you can see we have the standard assets imported, and it has the character, everything, right? So you'll go to the scenes and double click to open the scene. And when you load the Unity Hub, you may not see your project file here. As you can see, the project, we have renamed it to character demo. So if that happens, just double click the Unity scene multiple times and wait for it to refresh. And then here we can see it. Okay, character demo. and then you can click on that and it will open. And here we can come to the top, game object, 3D object, and create a plan and make it about 50 for XYZ, so we have a plan to walk. And then we can go to standard assets and go to characters, first person controller, prefabs, and drag in the first person controller, and we can press F key to zoom in to focus on it, and make sure to bring it up above the ground. So we'll have a character controller that we can test play here. So now let's work on the character. Now I want you to select the assets, and here I'm going to create a new folder and name it models, and double click to open this folder, and I'm going to create a subfolder skeleton. Okay, and open it. So inside the skeleton folder, I want you to bring all of the FBX files we just downloaded with the texture file. So drop everything here into this folder. Okay, so now as you can see, this model T-pose, it has the mesh, the skin, and others are just the skeleton. So we can drop in the skin inside here. So now you can see that is very small. This is our first person player. So what I can do is I can just make it to maybe 4. Should be a good size. And I can also rotate it on this axis. So here we can also put 180, so he will aim to our player. Okay, and also we don't need this main camera. We'll hide it because our first person controller already has a camera. You can also create the material, drop this texture file on the material, and then assign the material to the skeleton model. So now let's make the game a little bit more interesting. So now, as you can see, our character is in the T-pose. Okay, so here I'm going to create a Animator Controller, and I'll see skeleton enemy. Okay, and double click to open this animation controller, and we can pull this exit state closer, even though we will not use it in this case. So here, let's see, for the animation, we're going to drop in the idle animation. Okay, skeleton idle, we just dropped it in, so it still shows the website. So here we'll rename it to idle. Okay, so this will be the default state because whenever the game is awake, you're gonna enter the idle animation. So we can select this idle animation clip and go to the setting here and check on loop time and apply. And for the other two, which is the, let me make it bigger so you can see the text. So other two, for example, the death and the walk, I don't want you to check the loop because for either death animation and walk animation, I only want it to play one time. Okay, so now if I go back to the scene and select the skeleton, and here add component, we can add a animator, right? So this is like a player, and then the controller will be the animation clip, the animator controller we just created. So drop it in here, so you're gonna play the animation. Here, click on apply root motion. So now if I hit play, and you should see that our character will play the animation. So you can switch it to animation. If you double click on this animator controller, you can just delete this animation clip and drop in the death animation or the walk animation. So by default, you're going to play that animation. Okay, and now let's make the game a little bit more interesting. So I want to make some interaction. So because this course is just for 3D modeling animation, so we'll not do a lot of crazy things on interactions here. Okay, so I'll just show you some basic thing. So here I wrote a simple script. So basically the function is we're going to assign the skeleton game object, which is the skeleton character, and if you press down a key on your keyboard, which is a BK, you're going to get this skeleton's component, which is animator component, and you're going to play an animation clip named walk. If you press down N, you're going to play the death animation clip. Okay, so now let's get it set up. So I'm gonna select the assets and I'm gonna create a new folder, and I'm going to rename it to scripts, and open this folder and drop in this script into here. And let's go back to the models, skeleton model, and let's double click on the Animator Controller, and let's drop in the death animation and rename it to death. So keep in mind that I have the caps lock here, D. Make sure your name is exactly the same as mine. I'm gonna explain why later. And also drop in the walk animation, clip to here, and rename it to walk, and caps lock W. Okay, and as I said, don't check on loop. Don't check on loop for the walk and death. That's important. And then what I want you to do is right click on that and make a transition to idle. So what's gonna happen here is if I go to script and open the script here. So you're going to load Visual Studio. So what I'm gonna do is if I press BK, it's gonna play walk animation, right? So if I hit BK, you're going to switch it to walk animation, and once it's done, play the walk cycle, you're going to switch back to idle. That's why I created two transitions. Okay, and let's go back to the scene and let's select the skeleton model and add component. So here we're going to just type in press key animation, and for skeleton, for the game object, we just drag this object itself to it. So now let's test the play. So in the beginning, you should see that our character is play the idle animation. If I press B, it's going to walk, and when it's done, it's going to play idle again. B again, walk. N for death, and once it's done, play the animation, he's going to come back to idle. Alright, so you can do a lot of creative things with this simple concept. And for your assignments, I want you to screen record your game and show me the interactive character you have built. By press different key, you're going to play different animation clips.